It's cold. Today's vlog is jam-packed. Sweet tooth solutions, life advice, a trip to a circus facility, some hip opener advice. But first, people keep asking me, why am I learning Russian? Well, I've been learning it for the past 9 months. One of my very favorite pole dancers is in Ukraine. Her name is Kaya Bloom, and she has an online shkola. And so I wanted to learn Russian so that I could sign up for her online shkola. And guess what? I signed up for it, and it's amazing. Look outside my window, can you see that? It's Borat on a boat wearing a mask. Sweet tooth solutions. There are so many different levels of sweet tooth solutions, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm a perfect robot, so this vlog is not going to be Fitler style, but rather it's going to be a realistic approach with a variety of different options, something hopefully for everybody. Sweet tooth solution number 1 is in the Duhovka. That's Russian for oven. Oh look, it's carrots. Oh, my toaster oven's sweating. I made chicken and I accidentally ate a whole bunch before showing you, so that was rude. Chicken isn't exactly for a sweet tooth, but it might help you overcome your need to even have something sweet in the first place. These are also a solution. They only have 4 grams of sugar, so that's better than eating a chocolate bar. This is the salted toffee pretzel. You can see it has the coating and little pretzel pieces. It looks like a Rice Krispie. Same goes for the protein powder. It's a great way to get your chocolate in without having a ton of sugar. It's only 3 grams of sugar. When I'm craving something sweet and chocolatey, I make strawberries and chocolate dip. So I slice the strawberries into tiny little pieces because it gives me that feeling of volumetrics of constantly putting something in my mouth. And then I mix a scoop of the chocolate milkshake with a sparing amount of water. It's goo of the gods. That is delicious. Watch me eat it. So delicious. I'm gonna eat another one, so to keep yourself busy, just subscribe and hit the like button. Oh, that's damn good. Make it. It only takes like 30 seconds to make it. Oh, and I do have a coupon code if you want to get BSN products. 15% off. Maybe you're like, oh, Sarah, screw it. I just want the real deal. Well, then my next suggestion would be portion-controlled sweets, such as Hershey's Kisses, not sponsored, but goddamn do I wish. Bunka Dilia Pechenye cookie jar. The ideal approach is to go with a Whole Foods, all-natural approach. Bartlett pears, cherry tomatoes, peaches. Oh, I got the golden delicious Ontario apples. I'm offended. She won't eat the chicken I made. See that? She ate the chicken that my mom made. Is my cooking that bad? I just made extra lean ground chicken. Coco, do you want to try the chicken? No? No. Are you guys just not hungry? Do you like my sweatshirt? It says Team SS. And it's got cat hair on it. What flavor should I have? The strawberry dragon fruit, the pineapple, the blue raz, the fruit punch, the grape, or the Blue Point Siamese. When I first embarked on this journey, I had this unrealistic expectation that I could fix my back pain, my knee pain, my upper trap dominance, and all the other gazillion issues I had in 6 months, worst case, a year. I've been going at this for 3.5 years, and one thing I've realized is that this is a process. Self-improvement is something you do until the day you die. And because you up the ante as you improve, that's going to shine the spotlight on weaknesses that you didn't even know you had. And so it's kind of like trying to solve a mystery or solving a Rubik's Cube. You do it in layers because you get clues along the way that reveal things to you that you didn't even realize. And that's what makes it truly an enjoyable process. What is this? Chicken tacos?
Yeah. Chicken tinga.
And you got the same thing?
Yeah, but I already ate one.
Just so you know, everybody, Elisa has taco breath.
I do. They were delicious and they were worth it. So we're gonna do my favorite. I start in frog. And I always start my frog with my feet right behind my knees. And then toes together like you're making a triangle, and I sit my bum back. And that's a really good one for inner hamstrings. And then I'm gonna crawl forward. Once I'm done holding those two guys, crawl forward, and I'm going to press my hips into the floor. So it's really important that your hips are pressing down and you're not piked. So hips down, so hip thrust. Keep the turn out, bringing the feet together, and then trying to bring your feet down to the ground. Yeah, so you're making a diamond. And it's really great. It feels pretty excruciating, but it's...
It's great, but it's excruciating. Try it.
Yeah.
Subscribe. I can't do it. Let me know if you can do it in the comments below. And then I've put in the butterfly stretch, so you can do that with me in real time and see how that goes for you. My advice is do not force yourself into positions that are not available to you. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was your ROM. So the butterfly position, feet together like this, and you're gonna use your hands to help you and your elbows to help you push the knees down towards the floor. Now, what you can do is put 2 yoga blocks, one here and one here, and actively push into the yoga blocks to strengthen the hip openers. If you have the mobility, then by all means, push into the floor. So I'm using my elbows at first just to help me. And then I'm going to gradually see if I can take over and do all the torquing and take my elbows off. So I am thinking about actively pushing my knees down into the floor so I can strengthen my hip external rotators. So now what we can do to up the ante is take a yoga block and put it like this in front. And the name of the game is to get the knees down onto the floor and really create space in the hips, opening up the hip joints so that we have the space to fold forward and have our forehead touch the yoga block. This is a really nice way to open up the QL as well. If you can fold all the way to the floor, do it. Hold it and come back up. Hip mobility is not an enigma. It's not something you have to have developed when you were 6 years old. It's something that you can develop at any time in your life as long as you're willing to do the work. And obviously having a really strong TVA makes things so much easier. It really boils down to what you're doing on a daily basis consistently. And just because you do it, for 6 weeks doesn't mean that you can just suddenly stop doing it and you're cured for life. It's something that you have to maintain. I would suggest that you don't overlook your TVA. That's your body's primary stabilizer. It stabilizes your lumbar spine. And so if that's weak, you can see how that's going to contribute to back pain, as well as issues upstream and downstream, since it's the primary stabilizer. And the other area I would suggest you don't overlook would be your thoracic spine mobility. Because if you don't have good thoracic spine mobility, then your lumbar spine is going to have to move a lot more than it's designed to move, and that can also contribute to back pain, and upstream it can contribute to shoulder problems and neck pain. I also think it's important not to overlook your hip mobility because, again, it can contribute to back pain. So I don't know how to answer your question with is there one exercise? I think if I could only give people one exercise for the rest of their life, I would probably say L-sits or L-sit preps, the scaled version, just to make sure that you are targeting the body's primary stabilizer, plus you also get the benefit of improving your back stability and your hip flexors at the same time. But you can't just do one exercise and neglect everything else, you know what I mean? So L-sits are something that are a huge staple in my training. So once a month with my Strength Academy, I do a Zoom call. And this month's topic is optimizing thoracic mobility, which is very important. Most of us lack it because we sit all the time. I'll just be quiet now because I talk about it in the Zoom call and you can just listen to snippets of that. The reason why it's important that we can rotate at the thoracic spine is so that the lumbar spine won't be forced to rotate more than it's supposed to. And so if it does end up rotating more than it's supposed to, that's when your facet joints can become irritated. It can actually damage the articular surfaces of the vertebrae. And it can also cause the collagen fibers that make up the discs in between each of the vertebrae to start to tear. So that can lead to disc issues as well. So the other reason why T-spine extension is important is because that's what allows movement of the scapula to happen so that you can flex your arm overhead. If I could write a letter to my younger self, what would it be? Are you ready? I made a list. How many things are on the list? 24 things. Number 1. Don't rush. Why is it so hard to wait for good things to happen? Like, why did I think I could get my ring muscle up in a year? 3.5 years later, I'm still working on it. When we rush things, it always creates this feeling of lack. Like, we're not good enough. We're not, achieving things fast enough. So don't rush. Enjoy the process. Number 2, don't be a victim. You always have the choice at the end of the day to choose victim or victor. Choose victory every single damn time, even if that means you have to take a course of action that you hadn't originally planned on taking. 3, develop self-awareness. Stop blaming others and start taking a look at your role in every situation. Because guess what? All situations are co-created. Take a look at your destructive adult behavior patterns. As an adult, it's your responsibility to identify behaviors that negatively impact other people, and it's your responsibility to learn how to fix them. And if you think that there isn't anything that you can improve upon, or that people will just have to deal with you the way you are, then I got news for you. You're still a child. 4, learn how to move better so that you will age well, so that you won't be in pain. Strengthen the daylights out of your TVA and make sure you have good thoracic spine mobility. If you have a weak TVA and poor thoracic spine mobility, it's a recipe for pain all over your body. You can use your smartphone to video yourself moving. Your video camera on your phone is your best coach. Use it. 5, don't overpluck your eyebrows. I made that mistake in the 1990s and I regret it. 6, don't diet. If you slash your calories and demonize carbs and do a whole bunch of other restrictive things, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. 7, pay attention to your ego. Sometimes it can bully you into doing some pretty stupid things for instant gratification instead of doing things that would benefit you in the long run. Which brings me to the next one, 8, live and learn. Mistakes are the best way to learn. And the universe has this really funny way of making you repeat the same mistakes over and over again until you figure it out. Like, for example, do you keep dating douchebags? 9, set boundaries and adhere to them. Get really good at identifying red flags and extricate yourself immediately. Like, don't wait, just trust your gut. Here's my dating advice. A shit leopard doesn't change its shit spots. So if you weren't good enough to be the girlfriend, then why would you demote yourself into being the side chick or the texting pen pal, or I don't know what you call it these days, an emotional prostitute or a friend? I promise you, you will not be promoted to the major leagues by this dude. The real question, though, is why do you keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Which brings us back to point number 3, which is to develop more self-awareness. 10. When you do things to get approval from others, you will make everybody happy except for yourself. This applies to career decisions, relationships, and even your Instagram content. 11. There is nothing wrong with being single. You don't have to be married or in a relationship to be happy or to not be perceived by others as having something wrong with you that makes you unlovable. I think it's important to spend time being alone and getting really comfortable with being alone. I think that it's important to take that space so that you can learn how to truly love yourself. 12. Don't put yourself down. Self-deprecation gets old fast. Focus on your wins. It doesn't matter how tiny or insignificant they may be. Wins solidify that you're moving in the right direction. Look, in order to get really good at something, that means accepting that you're probably going to be really bad at first. Welcome to mastery. It's an ongoing process that requires that you show up with an empowering mindset every damn day. 13. Be self-sufficient. Make sure you can look after yourself. Never ever rely on somebody else to save you. 14. Believe in yourself. 4 years ago, I told everybody that I wanted to learn a strict ring muscle up, but I couldn't even do a pull-up or a dip. Here's what I learned along the way. Developing belief in yourself is collecting many gradual little victories along the way. This solidifies that you're moving in the right direction and it builds confidence. The fastest way to build self-confidence is to do things that you're afraid to do. 15. Sleep on it. Always sleep on it. Just bite your tongue and sleep on it. In the morning, you will have more clarity and it will allow you to communicate your needs in a healthier way. Or maybe you will realize that you need to take ownership. Maybe you have some work to do. 16. Stop trying to convert everybody to your way of thinking. If it weren't for the differences between us, we wouldn't even know who we are. As painful as it can be, sometimes that means some people are only meant to be in our lives for a season. You know, we don't meet people by accident. Everybody does cross our path for a reason. And we have to figure out what that reason is. I promise you there's a lesson there. And that means we have to figure it out and take ownership if we want to grow as human beings. 17, be yourself. Have the confidence to be yourself because you're awesome. Be confident about the way that you do things because that's what interests people. They don't care if you have degrees or if you cite and discuss scientific articles or if you have a perfect body and you deadlift 400 pounds for reps and you have an entourage and a gazillion Instagram followers. You don't need that to have clout. I used to think I needed all that. And what ended up happening is I became somebody I wasn't, just to please the tastemakers that tell the sheep what to like. Here's the thing, people are very perceptive. They can tell if you're real or if you're a contrived avatar. And along the way I learned that it's a lot more enjoyable and a lot more well received if you just act yourself. 18. How you leave people says so much about who you are as a person. So for all you cowards out there who just ghost people, I'm talking to you. 19. When strangers say hurtful things to you, it's because they're in emotional pain. It's because what you're doing is triggering something that makes them feel inadequate. When people are in pain, they will spew venom, and my heart truly goes out to these people. 20. Be careful who you surround yourself with because it affects who you become. If you lay down with stray dogs, you will catch fleas. 22. Don't stop living your life because of someone else. Don't lose yourself. Bless you, Coco. Don't lose yourself in someone else, or you will regret it. 23. Become a challenge tackling machine. Learn how to negotiate and overcome challenges because it's a part of life. Hi, Coco. Purposely subject yourself to new challenges because it'll help you develop grit, resilience, it'll develop your mindset, and it will transform you. 24, the last one. Nothing ever stays the same. Everything in life is impermanent. People inevitably come and go. Broken hearts will heal. Careers will change. So embrace change. You'll have so much more peace if you do. I'd like to add 25, which is you should have your backup batteries charged, ready to go. Oh, and 26, if I were to give advice to my younger self, I would say back off the tattoos. You're going to regret that later. And that's a wrap. Thank you for being here. I understand that time is precious, and I'm grateful that you give your time to me. I hope that you got something out of this that you can immediately implement or that helped you in any way. Drop me a comment. I always love reading your comments and interacting with you, or if you have suggestions for things you'd like me to talk about in the next vlog, I'd love to hear from you. And just thanks for being here, for subscribing and following along. I'm really grateful that I can do what I love. So thank you.